Diary of a Sociopathic Mother-in-Law Next Door. Entry. Today's date is Friday the 14th of November 2025. A cause for celebration, though it doesn't really feel that way. So yesterday, actually before going to yesterday, just wanted to make sure I've said these couple of bits on here. The beginning reminded us. One of them was when it was first floated, the idea that the ATM wanted the beacon to move in with him. He expressed his desire for that to be the case. So this was before the shit hit the fan. When that idea was first floated, the beacon was having a conversation with the husk, just the two of them, about what that would look like. And as usual, what's happening is the husk is just looking for attention. And what do I do? But what if this? What if that? And I'm so confused because I'm so vulnerable, and I need a surrogate parent. Tell us what to do. Tell us it'll be alright because I'm not fully matured. I've got the mental age of an 8-year-old. So anyway, she's having this conversation about what it would look like if she did move out. And one of the things that she asked her was, well, what would you do with the lair? And the beacon said, well, if you move out, well, you're going to move out sometime. Whether you're moving out permanently out of this realm or whether you're moving in with him, we've obviously thought about what we'd do with it, and we'd probably turn it into a little holiday let or something. Don't you worry about us, pet. So, and then she said to her, the husk asked her, but what happens if it didn't work out? Why would you think it's not going to work out? Nobody thinks like that. I don't believe normal functioning adults think like that. Nobody thinks, what if it doesn't work out? So anyway, the beacon just said, well, it's still going to be here, isn't it? And it's the lodge isn't going anywhere. What she's actually saying is, you just move back. I'm not going to see you homeless. Stupid woman. She's just looking for attention though. But anyway. And do you know what she said to her? When she was mentioning having this conversation, and she mentioned having it as a little holiday night, she had the cheek to say, would I get half the money? Wow. So, let's get this right. We've spent, I don't know if I've said it on here, I'm just going to say it. We've spent £97,000 on building you a home. £70,000 was the beacon's inheritance, i.e. when you sold your house, you gave both daughters their inheritance early. Roadkill took her inheritance, and the beacon took her inheritance. What did the beacon do? Put it towards building you a new home that you'd be happy in. That's what she spent her inheritance on. I know I've said this on here. And then the rest of that, £26,000, came out of our life savings. Extortion, being extorted, £96,000, right? So when the beacon vacates, we've got to get that £96,000 back somehow, because it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Well, it does, but it's now part of an asset. But that asset is never going to be liquidated. It's never going to be turned into money. It's our family home for life. So we've got to get that money back. The best way to make it work for itself is to have a little holiday let. And she wants half it, but to fund her lifestyle. So whatever Roadkill did with her side of the inheritance, so round about the same time, I'm talking. Round about the same time, lost my train of thought now. This guy thought I was talking to him. Didn't know what to say. I'm talking to myself. Anyway, around about the same time that Roadkill got her inheritance, she bought a motorhome, right? We know they're not cheap. And I'm going to guess that our motorhome was round about how much she got in inheritance. So let's just say Roadkill decides that to raise a bit of extra cash, she's going to hire out a motorhome when she's not using it and try and get it to pay for itself. Do you think the husk would be asking, can I have half of that, Roadkill? It's just deluded. Absolutely deluded. But the second element of this story is, so obviously she asked the beginning, if it didn't work out with ATM, what would you do? This is just when it was being floated. And she said, well, it's still going to be here, isn't it? You know, i.e. we're going to see homeless. So anyway, fast forward to when I was having a conversation. I can't remember which conversation it was, fairly recently with the husk. And we're talking about her, like, now that she's made a decision to move out. And I was saying, why did you not tell her? Blah, blah, blah. Why have you left her hanging for 8 weeks? And one of the things she said was she wanted to keep her options open in case it didn't work out. So she still doesn't think it's going to work out, because you know you can't keep up this act with him forever. You have to take your mask down every now and again. It's exhausting being nice, isn't it, Husk? So anyway, I said, well, just because you want to keep your options open doesn't give you the right to not tell us that you've technically moved out. You've got to ask us. It's our home. You've got to ask us if you can technically move out, but leave this place empty, hemorrhaging potential money. So, as she said, let's get exactly how this went again. So she said she wanted to keep her options open in case it didn't work out with ATM. And she said, because a while ago I asked the beacon, her words now, I'm speaking, a while ago I asked the beacon what would happen, and if I moved out and she said, you turn it into a holiday let. So this is the conversation, and what I've just told you about, this is the conversation she was referring to. So she says, the beacon told us that you're going to have it as a holiday let. I went, right. And said, and I asked the beacon what would happen if it didn't work out with ATM, would I be able to come back? I went, right, and what did she say? And she said no. Wow. She said no. Right? So this lie, and I knew on the spot, right there, that was a lie. Because even without knowing the details of this conversation, I knew that is not what the beacon would have said. It's not difficult to know when she's lying about your own wife when you've known her for 33 years and you pretty much know and understand exactly how she operates, and you have empathy and you know how to make her happy because you know what she wants to make her happy. It's ridiculous that you think, Husk, that I'm going to believe that lie. And I said to her, no. I don't know what she said, but she definitely wouldn't have said no. She did. And this is a lie, which is in the moment, and it's just to justify the fact that she has just left this place empty for 8 weeks without telling us, and that she wanted to leave her options open by still maintaining, the idea that the lodge is still her home, even though she's not living there. She's technically moved out. It's a lie to justify why she chose that behaviour, and it's in the moment, and she's used to her whole life. She's used to telling these types of lies, and suckers gullibly buying them, and it gets her out of pickles. If I believed that, I would suddenly have some empathy towards the situation. Oh, right, I can totally get that. Like, is that what the beacon said? Oh, wait till I see her. That's, if that lie was bought, she'd get out of that pickle. And this is what she does. And I just, after all the conversations we've had, she still doesn't get that me and the beacon tell each other everything. And then, so obviously when I reported that back to the beacon, it was just like, wow, that's just a bold-faced lie. It's just an outright deceit, act of deception. She is sick. This woman is sick, lying about her own daughter. She does not care about the consequences that that's going to have for her daughter. The consequences are either cause friction between her and her husband, i.e. me, cause friction, because I might believe the husk. If I was a dumbed down idiot, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care that she could potentially cause an argument between her daughter and her husband. She wants that wedge. She loves that wedge. So that's one potential consequence. The other potential consequence, which is the one that manifested is that I tell the beacon, she obviously believes me, and the beacon loses even more respect, even more trust, and even more love, if there's any left, for our mother. She doesn't, and that one, the psychological damage that causes the beacon, the trauma, she doesn't care. She wants to inflict trauma because that's what she's done all of her life, is inflicted trauma and abuse, emotional, mental abuse, psychological abuse on her daughters through neglecting their emotional needs, not nurturing their true self through childhood and through adolescence. It's just completely neglected all those types of duties as a parent. And the only duties she didn't neglect were the material ones, the ego, material needs, survival, basic survival, shelter, food, protection, physical protection, and pack them off to a state-owned school to be indoctrinated. And that's not even a duty, but well, I suppose it is. So anyway, nothing, total neglect when it comes to any real growth of the self, of the true self of the person. Not person, that's the wrong word, but yeah, just the true self. Who you are at your core, at your essence. So she's happy to inflict all of that pain and discomfort on the beacon. Maybe that's that's the side effect of that lie. The effect she wanted was to get out of the pickle. The side effect is what it does to her daughter. She doesn't care. She does not care. It's me first, daughter second. Me first, daughter second. And that's all that was. No thought for anybody else as she spews her lies. Absolute garbage comes out of her mouth. No thought for anybody else. Me first, daughter second. And that's the story of the life. Oh, yeah. That's the story of her life. The beacons. If you could just say that and press the stop button. Sick. She is sick. She's got a disorder. She's ill. I'll come on to that later. So anyway, yesterday was the 13th of November. 13, 11, two big numbers for us. 13 is a number that's followed me in the beacon round pretty much all of our time together. 13. So anyway, no coincidence then that it was the 13th that the furniture van is coming. Yesterday, 9 o'clock. I'm going to take away our bulky furniture. It's going to drop it off at the ATM's place. And that's it. Done. End. Bye-bye. You never say us again. You never see your granddaughter again. Not because I'm going to use force to stop our granddaughter seeing you, but because when our granddaughter, when she gets little updates of information that I carefully give her about you, then she forms her own conclusion. Hiya, you alright? She'll form her own conclusion, and she's being brought up properly by two parents who love her, care for her, look after her basic physical needs and also her emotional, psychological and mental needs. Unlike you, Husk. So because she's been given that upbringing, she's going to have morals. Unlike you, Husk. And no moral person would give you the time of day. So bye-bye. So moving out day, she sent us a text the night before, 9 o'clock. This is pretty much the 11th hour. The removal van was set to come at 9 in the morning. She sent us a text. Do you need me to come, or can you manage without us? What do I need you to come? Can I manage? I've never needed you. I've always managed, Husk. It's the other way around, man. But it's like, she clearly doesn't want to come, but she can't just make a decision like an adult and say, just let you know, I won't be there. You're going to have to deal with the removal man yourself. She can't do that. She can't do that. She needs to be told and given permission. And the reason she can't do that is because it doesn't play into her victim mentality. The fact that she's responsible for her own actions, decisions. So anyway, I just thought I just ignored it because, of course, you've got a responsibility to be there. I've carefully dismantled all of your bulky furniture and put it neatly in the garage. I've made it as easy as possible for the removal men. You just need to reverse the van up to the garage and truck it in. I couldn't have made life easier for you, but it's your stuff. You're employing them. You're their client. So you should be there. Your stuff is in a lockup, i.e. my garage. It's in a lockup, and it's in the same lockup as another person's belongings, i.e. mine. It's your responsibility to be there and make sure that they take the right stuff. And if you've got any questions, you're the person to answer them. And if there's anything you're leaving and not taking, it's your responsibility to make sure that they follow those instructions. Not mine. I don't know what you're leaving and taking. You change your mind daily. So, and it's your responsibility to make sure that the furniture is in, what condition it's in the lockup, and that it's handled carefully, and therefore you can judge it when it's delivered at the other side. You can judge that it hasn't been damaged in transit. That's all your responsibility. And you can't do it, can you? You can't do it because you're sick. And this is just one last power play. You don't want to turn up for whatever reason. So I just ignored that text. Next morning, day of the move, text, 8:10. She texted us, the removal men have been on the phone. They'll be there between 9 and 9:30. I'm like, why are you texting us that? I know you said 9 o'clock. Do you think I'm dumb? Do you not think that I think they might be late? There's a possibility. And she's not informing me. What she's doing is she's trying to get my attention and reply to the previous text. Instead of just saying, Mark, you haven't replied, she has to do it through hints. Like, if you don't want to come, you don't come. I don't care. Just don't blame me if anything goes wrong. So anyway, I just ignored that text. 20 minutes later, I got another text through. Only this time, it was an accidental text. 20 minutes later, she sent us a voice recording, but it wasn't an intentional voice recording. It was a 13-minute accidental recording, which as soon as it came through, I realised this would be an accident. So I listened to it, I pressed play. While it was playing, she deleted it. But she couldn't stop me listening to it because I had already pressed play. I knew the moment that I pressed stop, it's going to disappear. So I listened to it all the way through there, and then for the first minute it was the tail end of them two, her and ATM, having a conversation about me. And she's putting on fake tears, fake sniffing, making it sound like I'm the boogeyman and he's lapping it up. And she's, what do I do? Do I go? Do I stay? Do I go? I mean, I've asked him, make up your own mind, Husk. And then he says, he's made this whole move thing difficult, hasn't he? And his passive, meek voice, submissive, meek ATM. I've made this whole move difficult, have I? What is she feeding him? So, and then, I think that was about it. But she was crying. That was the thing. Well, she wasn't crying. She was sniffing. But I'm very familiar with the sniff. It's her fake cry. And what's she crying about? What? Just don't come if you don't want to come. She's crying because I won't tell her what to do. It's fake. The whole thing's fake. And what it gave us was an insight into how much she's manipulating him. Made this thing hard. She decided to move out, and from that moment I've done everything. I've packed up our whole house. She just made decisions about what she was taking, what she was leaving. I've packed every single box. Was packed by me. Every single box was carried by me into her car. All of the furniture was taken down by me. All of the furniture was moved into the garage by me. I've given her free storage in the garage. I've made it as easy as possible for the removal men. Obviously, I said to her, right up, I said, I'm not going to make this difficult. Why would I make this difficult? That's what I said to her. At the very beginning of the process, just work with us and we'll get this done. You've made a decision. I'm the person that you call on for help because it's my property. I could not made this any easier. I give her free storage and I give it till the end of November to get our bulky furniture picked up. I'll give her more and more and more leeway than what a normal person would give, the average person. And that's what she's feeding him. So I suspect, she's trying to hug us and just trying, oh, thanks boogeyman, and then and hugging us. And then he's got the impression that I'm making it hard. Doesn't add up, does it? Everybody gets their own story. Everybody gets their own lie. There's no constant. Nobody gets the same story. Nobody gets the same lie. It's tailored to suit each different person. Anyway, it was just the tail end of the conversation that I caught. So I would loved to have heard what was being said prior to that. So anyway, and then he just put the telly on and just started watching non-league football news. Weird. I had to listen to the whole thing in case there was any other gems of information in there. But really what it turned into was just listening to them talking absolute nonsense about non-league football, and she's pretending to be interested. I suppose that was quite interesting, listening to her pretending to be interested in non-league football and just completely pacifying him or whatever. The whole thing's fake. And told the Beacon all of this. She's foaming. Obviously I'll be telling my daughter snippets of this in due course. But ultimately, We haven't responded. We haven't done anything. Just go. I ripped the mailbox off the wall, so that was quite satisfying. She's been for a mail today. You got a shock, didn't you, Husk? There's an mailbox. You think it's still going to be there, don't you? You're that arrogant. You think that mailbox is still going to be there. You've gone, man. Bye. If you want your mail, get it redirected, which it has, because no mail came. There was no mail in the box, and no mail has come today. So mail has not come for a number of days. But it's obviously been redirected. But if anything comes, I'll just return to sender, no problem.